In the last topic, we learned how to add a task or tasks to a pipeline step on an entity page. As producers, we need to be able to digest task information easily so that we can see the status of our project at a glance. Let's take a closer look at the task rollup within all departments, aka pipeline steps, and all tasks to continually monitor how things are moving forward in our project. Before we dive in, let's take a step back and define a task pipeline beyond the department synonym we often use. A task pipeline is a set of steps that define a workflow for making something like an asset, shot, level, spot, and more. Since the workflows for building different types of things will have different steps, we want to define pipelines per the different things that we are tracking. As we can see here, we have pipeline steps for assets and a different set of pipeline steps for shots in our signal project. We can create a set of pipeline steps that are very high level, as we've done for our spot shots on a previous commercial, or more detailed, as we've done for these levels on a game. However, the most common approach is to define the pipeline by the departments involved, where pipeline steps are the containers for tasks. Once all of the tasks within the pipeline step are complete, the pipeline step is considered complete. Signal has a shot pipeline consisting of 5 steps: layout, animation, effects, lighting, and comp, while our asset pipeline contains 4 steps: art, modeling, rigging, texture. We can see all of the pipeline steps and reveal them on each entity page by clicking on the pipeline drop-down and selecting each one we'd like displayed, or by showing all and hiding all. We can also manage our steps via the same menu by selecting Manage Asset Pipeline. Note that this can be done via a task page and task template page by right-clicking on the pipeline step column and selecting Manage Pipeline for the entity we'd like to update. We can toggle the visibility of a pipeline step on our project, create a new pipeline step, and rearrange their order. With our modeling step expanded, we want to make a change to one of the tasks and reassign it. We can edit a task within a pipeline step the way we would edit any other task field. Just double-click into the field and then change its value. As we've done in a previous topic, we can create a task by right-clicking and selecting Add Task to Selected. In this case, we'd like to create a kickback to our modeling department on our Hero Rock asset from our texture department. We can add a task to multiple records by selecting them prior to clicking on the Add Task to Selected menu item, just as we did in the previous topic. Doing this creates a unique task per selected record. By default, each pipeline step shown is in its default collapse state, showing only the task status. When these columns are expanded, they show more detailed task information which we can and will configure. To expand all pipeline step columns at once, we can hold down the Alt Option key and click on the arrows. We can do the same to collapse all columns. Since we want to make some changes to the model column, let's expand it. Right-click on a column, select Insert Column. Let's just include the time logged over underbid. Since we like all the fields we have displayed, let's make this the norm for all of the other asset pipeline steps by right-clicking on the model header and selecting Update All Steps to match this layout. It's important to note that each pipeline has a default way of conforming to its pipeline steps: one for assets, one for shots, one for levels, and more. This helps keep views consistent with what we're looking at. Now notice the other options as well. Save this layout as the default, and revert all steps to the default layout. Since we want to select Update All Steps to match this layout, notice how all other steps expand and have the same layout. Now let's collapse them all with an Alt Option click, and notice how the first column displayed is always the one to display in collapsed mode. Since we like the way this looks, let's save the page since we made a change to the layout that we want to keep and that we'd like others to experience. Now that we have a page layout that works for our team, let's create a powerful report that we can reference throughout the day and see progress. Let's talk about pipeline step display modes and how to apply them. On Signal, we'd like a summary of how many tasks are final within a pipeline step visible. More specifically, we'd like to see a percentage to final summary of the tasks within the model pipeline step. To change the display mode, right-click on the step column header to bring up the context menu, then choose one of the 3 available display modes. Show Details Only allows us to view and edit each task within a pipeline step for each thing the task is linked to, such as an asset in this case. Show Summaries Only allows us to view summary values for all of the tasks for each thing the task is linked to, again, an asset here. Each task column within the step can be summarized in a number of ways, but the default summarization option comes from the Field Summarization option, which we can set in the Configure Field dialog. In Signal, we use this display option when we only want to see a percentage to final summary without any tasks displayed in the roll-up. Show Details and Summaries allows us to view both details and summaries. This is also more commonly used in the Signal project so that we can see a report of all the tasks rolled up, along with the summaries displayed for the percentage to final. Now that we're showing details and summaries on Signal, how we'd like them displayed, which is the percentage to final on modeling for each asset, let's say we want to show the percentage in progress, or another status summary. We can do this by right-clicking on the status header and selecting Summary, Percentage, and the other status. We'd also like to see this on other steps, so let's update all steps to match this layout again. It's great that we can see this for each pipeline step, but now we're thinking, wouldn't it be great if we can see a summary for each task in every pipeline step rolled up into one? In other words, for all tasks. The All Task view is accessible through the pipeline step dropdown. Once we select it, it'll show up on the right-hand side of the page. Then we just right-click on the status column and select Summary, Show Details and Summaries. Now we have all tasks for each asset rolled up in an easily digestible way. Beyond summarizing the percentage to a status, we can also see the sum of all durations on all tasks for an asset. Let's also turn on Page Column Summaries so that we can see the summaries for all of the tasks under each roll-up. We can do this via the Pipeline dropdown, Update Layout, Show Page Column Summaries. We also want to filter for all assets that have any task assigned to a specific person, in this case, me. We create a new My Page filter and filter all assets where at least one of the linked tasks is assigned to me by selecting All Tasks Assigned to includes me. We can also take advantage of this in the Filter panel, Assigned to Widget filter, by exposing more filters, All Tasks Assigned to me, or any other artists we're searching for. Now we'd like to show any tasks that are due this week and assigned to me. Keeping the same filter we have already applied, we duplicate it, and then we can add more filters All Tasks, Due Date, in this calendar week, Current. Now we can see any asset that has a task assigned to me that is due this week. Since we're still working on asset reporting, we'd like to show the status summary of an entity my assets are linked to, which in this case are shots, but in other cases, maybe spots, levels, and more. The Linked Pipeline Step field allows us to see summaries of tasks on the things linked to what we are viewing. To add this column, we select Linked Pipelines, Shot Steps, All Tasks, Status, This will show us the summary percentage to final of all of the tasks on all shots that are linked to the asset. So while we're viewing an asset on this Assets page, we can see the status of all of the tasks on all the assets linked shots. We can even drill in and see all of the tasks linked to the shot for more specifics. This will be extremely helpful in our status update meetings. If we're working on a game and looking at the assets that are linked to levels, we can select Linked Pipelines, Level Steps, All Tasks, Status. This will show us the summary percentage to final of all the tasks on all levels that are linked to the asset. Going back to our Signal Asset page, if we want to save this page so that we can use it in our status update meetings and not override what we have here, we can save as and call it Asset Status Report, and then save and make it a favorite so that it appears first thing in my page dropdown. Lastly, admins can manage pipeline steps for a site via the User Settings admin menu by selecting Pipeline Steps. For more information on this more advanced topic, check out our documentation.